Maresca loss to Brighton is the worst performance since I arrived. Chelsea head coach offers frank assessment after his side suffered 3-0 loss at Brighton. Enzo Maresca has called Chelsea's defeat to Brighton and Hove the worst performance since he took charge of the club. The Blues were beaten 3-0 by the Seagulls on Friday, their second successive loss at the Amex Stadium, having been knocked out at the FA Cup fourth-round stage a week earlier by the same opponents. Chelsea could drop out of the top four on Saturday if either Manchester City or Newcastle United triumph when they face each other at Etihad Stadium. Probably since I arrived, that is the worst performance. Especially in the moment we are in, Maresca told the club's official website. We are fourth in the league and winning tonight. You can go 1 point from third and make the gap to the rest bigger. The performance is not one you want to offer, so we are very upset. And especially very sorry for the fans who were here, and in general to our fans. Because in this moment you cannot offer this kind of performance with 14 games to go. Now 13 games to go. In terms of desire, we need to show more. We need to finish in the best way. It is a second consecutive away loss in the Premier League for Chelsea, who have not triumphed on the road since beating Tottenham Hotspur on the 8th of December, just a day after forward Nicholas Jackson was ruled out for up to 8 weeks with a hamstring injury. Chelsea suffered another blow when Noni Madueke was forced off with the same problem against Brighton in the 21st minute. We arrived quite well in the last third, but then we struggled to create chances. Until a week or two ago, that is something we were doing well, Maresca added. In this moment, the bad feeling is that we look like we can concede chances easily, and we struggle to create chances. There are many reasons why. The injuries to our nines are part of that. But we have 13 games to go, and we need to finish in the best way. It was a special action from him. Brighton head coach Fabian Hersler was full of praise for his side, in particular scorers Kayoru Mitoma and Yankuba Mina, after their goals helped see off Chelsea. Mitoma's stunning individual goal, his second in the last week against Chelsea, set Brighton on their way, while Mina struck in either half. Sometimes you can't explain the things from special players. It was a special action from him, and he deserves it because he works hard every day. He is fully committed to this club and I am glad he got it, Hersler said of Mitoma. On Minta's influence, he added, I think he tries to improve in every aspect of the game. Defensive work is key and the attacking players have to be part of it. When you commit to the team, I am convinced you will get the chances in the transition, and he did. £1.5 billion spent and no striker in sight. How did Chelsea get here? Before Friday's Premier League game against Brighton, Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca said they need to find something different, without a genuine centre-forward currently available. After being thumped 3-0 while failing to muster a shot on target, presumably the Italian is still searching, despite spending more than £1.5 billion since the Clearlake Capital and Todd Boehly takeover went through less than 3 years ago. A recent injury crisis has left Chelsea's squad looking remarkably threadbare, none more so than up front. How have they ended up with no fit strikers to call upon, and how do they solve their problems in attack? More than £1.5 billion spent. So where are all the strikers? Chelsea have signed a lot of attacking players since the takeover. The Blues have forked out £445 million on forwards, but aside from a now-injured Nicholas Jackson, none have proved to be a high-quality number 9. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was signed for former manager Thomas Tuchel at a cost of £12 million from Barcelona, but the veteran was frozen out soon after the German was sacked following a 100-day review from the ownership without a chance to prove his worth. He went on to score goals for Marseille in a sensational season in France, before moving to Saudi Arabia. The only other central strikers signed were David Dotra Fofana, David Washington and Mark Guiu, all young players at a combined cost of just £34 million. None have looked ready for the Premier League, never mind the level required to meet the expectations at Chelsea. The majority of that £445 million went on Christopher Nkunku, Raheem Sterling, Michaela Mudryk, Pedro Neto, Joao Felix and Cole Palmer, all predominantly wingers or number 10s, and only Palmer has produced on a consistent basis, having been involved in a league-high 39 goals, 26 goals and 13 assists. In 2024, Felix remarkably commanded an eye-watering £10 million loan fee during his initial spell from Atletico Madrid in 2023, before he rejoined the club on a permanent basis for £45 million last summer. He is now on loan at AC Milan. What forwards do they actually have available? Jackson has been ruled out for around 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. The 23-year-old came off injured against West Ham 2 weeks ago and, although manager Maresca was initially hopeful, the Senegal striker had avoided a major setback. Scans have since revealed the problem to be much worse. Fellow striker Guiu, a 19-year-old who has yet to start a Premier League game, is also out injured for a period of weeks or months after sustaining a groin problem against the Hammers. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Mudryk has been suspended for allegedly testing positive for a banned substance, to compound Chelsea's misery. Noni Madueke seemed to pull his hamstring while setting up a big chance for Palmer at Brighton and went straight down the tunnel for treatment after coming off. Maresca said afterwards that he will be out for a while. That all meant Chelsea's last three fit senior forwards were all on the pitch after Madueke's substitution. Palmer, Pedro Neto and Jadon Sancho, with academy winger Tyreek George the only attacking option able to come on in the second half. How has Maresca tried to solve the problem? Maresca already hinted at changing his tactics for the game at Brighton because of Nkunku's struggles playing up front. That France international has been in poor form and has scored just 1 goal in 11 matches in all competitions. He opted to move Nkunku away from the number 9 position, where he struggled in the FA Cup tie with Brighton 6 days ago, effectively swapping positions with Palmer. But the new game plan was disrupted by the injury to Madueke, which left Chelsea with just one player in Neto who could run in behind. As a result, the visitors were left with lots of the ball, but with no real goal threat. They completed 648 passes and had 69.4% possession at Amex Stadium, but were unable to force Brighton goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen into a save. Speaking after the match, Maresca told BBC Sport, "It is difficult when you don't have a proper number 9. In the last third we struggled doing things that, until a week or two ago, we were doing well. This is the worst moment since I arrived. But we are still there and we need to finish in the best way." It was a similar story in that FA Cup game, with the Blues again dominating possession and completing more passes than their opponents, but on that occasion having just one shot on target. Chelsea's best hope is finding a way to improve Nkunku's level, but without hurting Palmer, who is also starting to decline after his excellent partnership with Jackson has been disrupted. Either way, in reality, for all the money spent, Maresca is simply short of options. What's going on with Palmer? Palmer has failed to score in 4 successive Premier League games for Chelsea for the first time since joining in the summer of 2023. Despite the recent lean spell, however, his overall record this season is still strong. He has scored 14 goals and provided 6 assists, and should still be on course to match the 22 goals he managed in 2023-24. While he has continued to churn out the numbers, though he has been used in a slightly different, more central role throughout this campaign under Maresca, compared to previous manager Mauricio Pochettino. In his pre-match interview, the Chelsea manager described Palmer as more a linking player. He would have hoped by playing him down the middle at Brighton, albeit this time without a central striker ahead of him, he would be able to drop deeper and feed the wide players running beyond him. "Football is a team, it's not tennis," said Maresca when asked about Palmer's recent lack of goals. "It's not only Cole Palmer. We are all the same in this moment." Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.